You keep waiting. Waiting for motivation or for inspiration to hit, waiting for the right time or for some sign that you're making the right choice. Waiting until you feel ready. Waiting for the fog to clear before you start that thing that won't stop calling you. But what if it doesn't? What if motivation never hits or the right time never comes? What if you never feel ready and stay stuck? What if the only way to see what's next is to take that next step? Even without certainty, because few things are certain, but one thing's for sure. You won't always be able to see that far ahead. Sometimes all you get is what's right in front of you, but maybe that's enough. Maybe clarity isn't a prerequisite for starting that thing. Maybe the fog only clears after you get started. At some point, you have to move without knowing exactly where it's going to take you, because the alternative is staying exactly where you are. So what do you have to lose? We tend to wait for motivation, inspiration, the right time, a sign, certainty before we start that thing that we're really scared to do, but we know we should. We can get caught up in the preparation of it all, researching, planning, journaling, asking for advice, watching YouTube videos, podcasts. All that can feel productive, but is it really? Eventually, you're gonna have to ask yourself, do I actually need more information, or am I just scared? Am I just stalling? Which is normal. It's a normal feeling to be scared to do something that you've never done, or to put yourself out there, to be fearful of other people's judgments and criticisms and what they might think of you. But honestly, that's really none of your business. And the gag is, some answers require action. You won't be able to know how something feels, if you enjoy it, or where it could actually lead you, what you can learn from it, if you don't start. Take it from me, you guys. As someone who has not posted on YouTube in nearly 2 years because of this exact issue I've been having. So if you're watching this, I feel you. You're not alone. I have been scared to get back on here. I'm stuck in the planning and analyzing, trying to figure out the perfect way to show up and have everything completely mapped out. And while planning is very important and you shouldn't skip the planning phase, you definitely shouldn't stay there either. The majority of the time, the answers that you're looking for come from the action that you have to take, the thing that you're scared to do because you want the clarity. The clarity is probably going to come after you start doing the thing. I remember one day my husband and I were on the road. We were driving from Virginia to North Carolina to go visit some of our family. It was early in the morning. It was a really foggy morning. And I remember telling him that, like, I'm so happy that he's driving, because if it had been me in the driver's seat, I would be so freaked out because it was so foggy. I couldn't see, more than 10 feet ahead. And I would be terrified that, something would be on the other side of the fog. You don't know what's coming at you. But you guys, I kid you not, within like 2 minutes of me telling him this and having these thoughts, the fog cleared. And it was such a bright, beautiful, sunny day. And that has never left me. I felt like that was a clear sign from God that, like, you just need to take that next step. You don't need to see the entire road. You don't need to have the whole plan mapped out. Sometimes you only get what you need to take that next step. And most of the time that's enough. That's all you need to do, is just take that next step, and God will align the path for you. But he can't align the path if you don't start walking. Imagine if we would have just sat there and waited for the fog to clear. Lord knows how long we would have been sitting there, like we could have been there all day, hours. But because we kept going and we got out of it, we were able to get through it. And then on the other side was beauty and clarity. So instead of asking yourself, what should I do? Maybe try asking, what small action could give me just a little bit more information? And so in my case, for me, it's this. I don't know if you guys are ever gonna see this video. I don't know if I'm gonna post it, but at least I'm here. I'm showing up. I set up everything. I set up the camera. I got my script. I sat down and I did what needed to be done. Does it mean I'm gonna get monetized tomorrow? No. Does it mean that this video is gonna get thousands and thousands of views? Maybe, but maybe not. It doesn't really matter what the outcome is. What matters is that I'm here, I showed up, and I took that step. And I feel like I have a little bit more clarity now, because now I'm in the groove of things. I kind of have an idea of where this is gonna go, what I'm trying to say. Do I have the big picture mapped out for my channel 100%? No. And I was going to let that stop me. I have let that stop me. I can't even say I was going to. I have. That's why I haven't posted in almost 2 years, because I just am stuck in the, I don't know, or what should I do? Or I don't know. I need to have it mapped out before I get there. But no, you're not going to. Unfortunately, we're just not going to. It just doesn't work that way. And so I just have to keep reminding myself that action creates the evidence. Action creates the clarity that I'm looking for. Doing the thing that I'm so scared to do is going to get me to the other side of figuring out if this is the thing that I should be doing. If you don't know, I became a realtor in 2020, and that was something that I literally jumped into, like eyes closed. I did no research. I didn't do anything to figure out like what it takes to be a realtor. And it was some of the hardest times of my life, the most depressing times of my life, because I felt so uncertain. I had no clue what I was doing. It was my first time becoming an entrepreneur and working for myself. And I had no self-confidence. There's no blueprint. There's no roadmap. As someone who excelled in school, because you have that blueprint, you do what they tell you to do, and then you make the grades. So coming from that, and then going into entrepreneurship, into real estate at that, where I had no clue what the heck I was doing. While it was so scary and depressing and challenging, it also created all of the skills that I need to be where I am today. You know, like the dots always connect in reverse, but they can't connect if you don't go forward. And I say all that to say that choosing something isn't permanent. You know, I used to be an all or nothing type of person, where I felt like, and still kind of do till this day, like, is real estate the thing that I should be doing? I don't sell real estate anymore, but I still work in the industry. Pivoting from selling real estate to what I do today was scary. You know, I had all the fears. What are people going to say? What do people think? I'm a failure. I only sold one home in my first year of real estate. My commission check was like a little over $1,000. You know, after all the fees and things that I paid to like start my business, I essentially was at net zero, probably negative, honestly, because I was using my credit cards to live. Yeah, it was the most challenging time of my life, but I've learned that just because I decided to do that doesn't mean that I can't do something else. You know, I tried it and I realized it wasn't for me. I'm not the type of person who would be successful at selling real estate. And while that was a hard pill to swallow, that's okay. You can try something and figure out that, hey, this is not for me. You can even think that you want to do something or know in your heart that you want to do it, but then you get there and you see what it's actually going to take for you to be successful here, and you change your mind. And that's okay. I went to school and got my bachelor's degree in public health. I said I wanted to be a doctor, and no, I don't. Never really did. I was just living for other people, you know, for other people's validation and approval. But where does that get you? Nowhere. Finding out that something isn't for you is also clarity too. Just because you find out that you don't like something doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It just means that you're figuring out what works with you and the type of person that you are. You're learning yourself, which is all necessary parts of being human and growing and evolving, you guys. The way we're programmed to like know who we want to be by the time we're 18 years old is absolute insanity. The fact that our frontal lobes don't develop until we're like 25, 26, you're literally not even born until your frontal lobe has developed. Like, we shouldn't start counting ages until your frontal lobe has developed. I think it was Leslie Jones maybe who said that, but I think that's so true. So that would make me like, what, 4 years old, 5 years old, which, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't feel like I should know everything that I want to do and who I want to be in my life. This is a journey. You have to go on the journey to figure things out, for things to be revealed to you. You have to figure out what you don't like as much as you have to figure out what you do like. Usually figuring out what you don't like will help lead you to figuring out what you do like faster. So the way I like to think of it is, this is how my path is. I'm just going to move. I'm going to learn. I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to move again. Move, learn, adjust, move again. That's it. You don't need the entire path. You don't need the whole map. Just that one little baby step, I promise you, is enough. That's all I have for you guys today. But before I go, I do want to leave you off with this question so we can have a little discussion in the comments. So let me know down below, what's one thing that you've been waiting to feel sure about before you take that next step? And what's something that you could do today to get you out of that planning, stagnant energy and into the energy of momentum? Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Okay, we filmed a YouTube